To begin the game, we will be choosing our characters. For this playthrough, we will be playing as the messenger and the priest. Next, the agenda cards will be selected. The agenda cards will equal to the total number of players minus 1 with a minimum of 1. So in this case, we have 2 players, and we will be having 1 agenda card. That will be the Medicine for Those in Need card. This card states that you must spend at least 3 rounds at any point during the night in the apothecary. This is a special card that gives you a secondary objective that you must complete by the end of the night. Once the board has been set up, we will spawn 1 or 2 monsters. Since we have 2 players, we'll be spawning 1 monster according to a d6 die roll. We'll be doing that now. The die landed on a 5. That means it will end up in building 5. Now, building 5 is the hunting store. That means that we will spawn 1 monster in the hunting store. And their piece will spawn on the little scroll icon, denoting monster spawns. After spawning monsters, players will get their turn. They will begin by rolling for movement. Each player gets 2d6 unless they are playing the messenger, which gets 3d6, and that is either +2 for normal characters or +3 for a normal character. So our first character will get 3, +2, which is 5, plus another 2, which is 7. So they get to move 7 spaces. They may move up and down, left and right, but they may not move diagonally. Once a player enters a building, all hidden cards will be revealed if they are in that building. In this case, it would be the monster card and the key card. Now, the key card Monster Den has been revealed, and whatever is on the card will take effect, and the monster card will now be able to travel and attack the player. Now, once the player and the monster are adjacent, they may attack each other. Right now, they are diagonal, and they are able to attack each other from this position. In combat, both the player and the monster will roll 1d6. 1 for the player, which is 2, and 1 for the monster, which is 4. Now, depending on this die roll, as well as the attributes shown on the card for offense and defense, the player and monster will get an advantage on their rolls. In this case, the player has not been able to effectively attack the monster, therefore the monster takes no damage. At this point, the round has ended, and 1 more monster will spawn. It will spawn in Building 3, which is the church. And now, at this moment, the priest will be using his ability to reveal 1 face down card each turn. Each character has a specific ability that is tied to their class, and they may only use it as is limited by their card. Now, the priest will use his for the turn, which is to reveal 1 face down card, and we will see that it is a parasite. The priest has now made his way over to the church, where he is now able to see that the idol is trapped within. Once he has seen the idol, he may now pick it up wherever it is in the building, using 1 action to do so. Once he does so, he will keep the card with him, in front of him at the table, and the icon used to denote the idol will then be removed from the board. The player may hold the idol for 3 turns, but at that point they will then turn into a monster. If they do not want this to happen, they may do one of 2 things. The first is to give the idol to an adjacent player. In this case, our priest will be giving it to our messenger, and that will cost the priest 1 action. Now, the card will be given to the other player, and he will hold on to it. Otherwise, if the priest did not want to give it to another player, he may instead use 1 action to drop it in any building. He may not do so in the streets, as it will then be reshuffled and randomly distributed. If a player should walk into the building with the silver tongue card, all of the key cards will then be shuffled and redistributed at random. If a player drops to 0 health points, they will be considered unconscious. If a player remains unconscious at the end of a round, they will then turn into a monster the following round. The player will transform into a werewolf, and once they are, they will then be tasked with hunting down the other players. The only way to cure this is through another card, a character card called the Alchemist. They may reverse the beast curse on 2 players. As the night progresses, monsters will get more dangerous. They will start in stage 1, and after a few rounds they will go to stage 2, and finally stage 3. Each building has its own unique ability. If the player ends the round in the building, they will gain whatever ability is given by that building. The length of time that an ability is gained is denoted under the building section in the rulebook. Finally, to win the game, all of the agenda cards must have been completed. In this case, one player or multiple players must have spent at least 3 rounds at any point in the apothecary, and at the end of the game, or the 10th round, one player, specifically the one holding the idol, must end the round at the exit tile. Once this is complete, the game will be over and the players will win, regardless of how many players have survived the night.